A variable in C++ is a name of the memory location, or I would say variable is a way to represent the memory location through symbol so that it can be easily identified. Variable value can be changed and it can be reused. I will show you how you can change the value of the variable as well as how you can reuse the value of the variable with an example program so that it is easy for you to understand. Now there are some few rules that you need to know before you create a variable name. Variable name, as I say, that variable in C++ is name of the memory location. So in order to create that name of the memory location, you need to follow certain rules. The first rule is this: a variable can have alphabets, digits and underscore. So in order to create the variable name, we can have alphabets, digits and underscore, or combination of alphabets, digit and underscore. The second important rule is this: a variable name can start with alphabet and underscore only. You can create variable name with either alphabet, digits and underscore, but you should start a variable name with either an alphabet or an underscore only, meaning you can't start a variable name with a number or a digit. Right? I hope this one is clear. The third rule is this: no white space is allowed within the variable name. Remember, no white space is allowed within the variable name. Final one is, a variable name must not be any reserved keyword or keyword. This is very important, meaning you are not allowed to use any keyword name as a variable name. So based on this rule, let me create a variable so that it will be easy for you to understand. So here what I am going to do, even the previous example that we have seen in the previous class. So this one is a variable. What did I say about variable? Variable is a name of the memory location. So what is the first rule? A variable name can be a combination of alphabet, number and underscore. So here this age is a variable, is a combination of a character. What if I want to include a number? Let's say A, I'm going to put 2 in between. I'm going to save and then I'm going to run. Right, so here I need to change according to this one. That's the reason why there is an error here. So when I change this one, even here I need to change this one. Save. When you compile, there is no issues. So a variable name can have character, number. In between, if you want to use the underscore, you can use the underscore as well. So here, let's say I'm going to use the underscore. Even here I'm going to use the underscore. So let me save and run. Still it's working, there is no issue. So a variable name can have characters, numbers and underscores, but the variable name can start either with character or underscore. In case here if I put number, let's say 3, even here I'm going to put 3. So we are not allowed to start with a number, right? In this case, if I run, it's going to give us an error. There is an error. What is an error? Invalid suffix, a prefix. Basically, what does that mean? So basically, we are not allowed to start a variable name with a number, but we are allowed to start with an underscore. So in case if I replace this number with an underscore, I'm sure that it would work. There will be no issues. You see, it's running. So only that we are not allowed to start a variable name with a numbers, even a special character. We are not allowed special character in the sense, let's say here I'm going to use at. So in this case, it's still not allowed, because it should start with either underscore or character. So when I run this one, it is still giving us an error, right? So what is the next rule? Let me show you again. Variable name, no white space is allowed within the variable name. In case here in this example, let's say I'm going to give the space. So let me remove the at, so that this variable name is a valid variable name. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to give a space in between variable. So let's say here I'm going to give the white space. This is not allowed, especially when it comes to the variable name. So when I run this one would give us an error because of this space. So what is the last one? a variable name must not be any reserved keyword. So there are a lot of keywords that are there in the C++. So make sure that you're not using the keyword. Let's say integer is a keyword, right? So let's say I'm going to create a variable name called char. Char is a keyword. As you can see them here, as soon as I typed char, it's even in the bold letter. What does that mean? Especially in this IDE, it will highlight if there is any keywords that you use in your program, will be highlighted in the bold letters like this. No wonder that as soon as I type this one, it is in the bold letter. What does that mean? Basically it's a keyword. So you are not allowed to use keywords as a variable name. So here let me just change this around. So when I save and run, it will give us an error. So basically this is what a variable is. Variable is a name of the memory location, or I would say variable is a way to represent the memory location through symbol so that it can be easily identified, right? So this is about the variable, guys. I hope there is no question in this part. I hope everything is clear as for now. The next one that we are going to discuss is about data types. What is data type? Basically, data type specifies the type of data that a variable can store. In this case, in this example that I have showed you here, so this is name of the variable. Let me change this around to age. Let me change this part to age as well. So as I said, data type specifies the type of the data that a variable can store. So this is a variable. Variable is nothing but a named memory location. So this variable is going to store an integer type of data. So basically data type, the name itself is there, is going to specify the type of the data that we are going to store. That is what data type means. So here there are 4 type of data in C++. First one is a basic data type, second one is a derived data type, third one is an enumeration, fourth one is an user defined data type. I hope in the last type is a user defined. I hope you already know what is user defined. As a programmer, we are going to define our own data. So we are going to see how to create a user defined data type as we go further in the future videos. As for now, what you need to know is we have 4 types of data. First one is a basic, second one is a derived, third one is an enumeration, fourth one is an user defined data type. Let me show you an example for each of these type so that it will be easy for you to understand. I'm sure that these things you have already learned them in C program. In case if you have got no idea about C program, then don't worry, because I'm going to teach you what is basic data types. Basic data types are integer, character, float and double. And then derived data types are arrays and pointers. We can even say strings. Enumeration data type, we use enum as a data type, and then user defined data type is a structure. Structure is a user defined data type because in structures we can able to store different type of data. That is the reason why structure is a user defined data type. Now what is this basic data type? These basic data types are integer based and floating point based data types in C++. Basically this one supports both signed and unsigned literals. Maybe it can be a signed integer or unsigned integer. It can be a signed float or unsigned float, or it can be signed character or unsigned character. Signed character or signed integer, which is nothing but it will accept both positive and negative value. Unsigned integer will accept only a positive value. That is the difference between signed and unsigned integer. For example, as I said that this data type can be used together with a variable. Variable is nothing but the named memory location. So in case if you want to store an integer type of data into a memory, it requires a specified amount of memory in your operating system. So basically operating system is the one who decides how many bytes of memory needs to be allocated to each type of data that you are going to use them in your program. For example, let's say your operating system is a 32-bit operating system. If it is a 32-bit operating system, integer will occupy only 2 bytes of memory. So for example, here we have integer and age. So this age is a memory location, or I would say it's a variable name. So in order to store this age into our memory, it will require only 2 bytes of memory in case if your operating system is a 32-bit operating system. But if your operating system is a 64-bit operating system, in order to store this integer data type, you need 4 bytes of memory. That is the difference. If it is a 32-bit, for you to store the integer data type, it's just 2 bytes of memory. In case if the operating system is 64-bit, then in that case, you need 4 bytes of memory in order to store the integer data type. Here I will show you few data types and the memory that particular data types requires according to the 32-bit operating system. So when it comes to the character, if the operating system is 32-bit, it will allocate only 1 byte of memory. If it is a signed character, it will allocate 1 byte. If it is an unsigned character, it will allocate 1 byte. When it comes to the short, it will allocate 2 byte. Signed short, it will allocate 2 byte. Unsigned short, it will allocate 2 byte. For the integer, it will allocate only 2 bytes because this is a 32-bit operating system. If it is a 64-bit operating system, for integer it will allocate 4 bytes of memory. Signed integer 2 bytes. Unsigned integer 2 bytes. Short integer also 2 bytes. Short signed integer will be allocated with 4 bytes. Unsigned short integer 2 bytes. Long integer 4 bytes. Signed long integer 4 byte. Unsigned long integer 4 byte. Float 4 byte. Double 8 byte. Long double 10 byte. So these memory allocations for this type of data is for 32-bit operating system. If it is a 64-bit operating system, the memory allocation for each of these operating system will change. Not for every data type, but for most of the data type, the memory allocation will be changed in case if the operating system is a 64-bit operating system. I hope now you have an idea about what is variable and what is data type.